Hey, you guys, welcome back to Romance Review TV with Lady T here again with another update. We're talking Love Island USA Season 4, and we're talking about Nadja Day. So, Nadja, as you know, was coupled up with Jeff, and originally she was with Nick and Casa Amor. And she talks about and speaks out about an unseen moment between her and Jeff, how she arrived at the decision to break things off with Jeff, the whole self-elimination. Was she part of the whole idea of this thing with getting Jesse and Deb voted off over Phoebe and Chad? And she breaks all of that down. You know, I like to keep you guys updated with what's going on, and we are going to talk about it. She just did a recent interview, and so it actually came out in the last few hours, so I wanted to share this with you. But before we unpack this, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And please don't forget to like and share. So let's talk about what has been said. So she did this interview with Screen Rant, and I'll drop the link in the description down below. So shout out to them. And let's talk about how she started out in Casa Amor. So she was asked about her connection with Nick and Casa Amor, and what did she see in him that was lacking in her connection with Jeff. She said that, I think it was that with Jeff, we felt like friends. It was easy at the time. She didn't realize that that was a really good sign. Now, with Nick, she was a lot more nervous. Felt a little bit more like a butterfly feeling, and thought maybe she had more of a connection with Nick. Maybe like him a little bit more, but wasn't necessarily that anything was lacking with Jeff. It was just, it took her a second to realize that just because everything is so easy doesn't mean that you like them. She was also asked, were you shocked about Jeff Casa Amor decision? What was going through her head when you saw him walk by himself? She actually said she was shocked. She saw Jeff walking alone. It was heartbreaking from day one. All of us collectively was like, Jeff is coming back with somebody. There was no doubt in her mind that there was any type of connection, or that he was going to find a connection. We were at an undetermined place in our relationship, so it sucks. And guys, remember, it was only 24 hours that they were together before Casa Amor even happened. So that's why that short time was kind of undetermined. A part of her decision had to do with her thinking that, he was coming back with somebody else. She had a connection with Nick. And of course, she was like, I need to find something. I don't want to be single. So there it is. So then she went on and talked about the exit and how they were the fourth couple to spend the night at the hideaway, then doing the baby challenge, spoke about marriage and kids. What changed so quickly afterward that made you realize that you didn't want to be together? So I guess there were several things. And she says she saw red flags in their relationship. Everything from, and she said it wasn't like a fight or anything, but it was accumulation of things that had happened, and that's why at times people thought, oh, does she really like him? Because a lot of us question that. She says that I'm horrible expressing my feelings. I'm not good at that day-to-day life, much less with cameras around. So it wasn't something that just changed out of nowhere, because everything she said she felt was real. The relationship, the feelings, all of that. That fight, however, was the cherry on top of everything else that they've already been through. And she really don't know, because she only saw the exit episode. But that's what pretty much ended it. And of course, when she saw all these comments, people out liked them together. She said she could have just faked it and rolled it out to the finale and tried to win, but she didn't want to do that. She didn't want to fake anything between the two of them, even though it was real. She said a lot of things that happened and made her come to that decision. And she even goes on further, to talk about the whole thing with Deb and Jesse, and how everything was said about remember when we was talking about in my recap video about how she instigated it. A lot of people were saying that on Facebook and on other platforms. And she addressed that. She said, seems like I'm the one that instigated them getting voted off. It started with Jeff expressing how Jesse been feeling. Deb had confided in her and the rest of the ladies as well, and told us that there was some hesitation, didn't want to rush anything. So their whole point was, it's very obvious that Phoebe and Chad had a connection. Phoebe was like, whatever happens, happens. I'm not rushing anything. If it works on the outside, it works on the outside. If it don't, it don't. And the fact that they could be better on the outside because Chad and Phoebe live 20 minutes away from each other. Nobody has that luxury. It just made sense. And that was her biggest thing. So she said she agreed. Even though she loved Deb and Jesse, she didn't think at the time that they were really like super, super invested in each other, some of the other couples. And that's where her logic came from. That's where Jeff's logic came in. So, even though she did come back and say, I think it was slightly unfair, but she said that she's glad Deb and Jesse made it to the end. So now it gets a little bit sticky because she mentioned something about Jeff getting jealous of her with other male islanders. And so she said that she hadn't watched it, so she don't know what was shown. But she did give an example about, I guess they were sitting in the kitchen and they were eating toasties. They ate grilled cheese like nobody business. Chad cooked. Phoebe was next to her. Deb was behind her. Isaiah was next to her as well. And they was in a group setting. And I guess she was, according to this, she didn't want her sandwich. She gave it to Isaiah. They split it. She was feeding him or took a bite or something. And I'm assuming from the way it looks, and you guys, like I said, I'll leave the link in there, something about the fact that Jeff didn't like the fact that she was giving Isaiah this sandwich. And, yeah. I mean, she said, first of all, he was asleep. He was passed out. It wasn't like she did anything wrong. She was just handing the guy a sandwich I didn't want. And then I got up. It's not like we were sitting there and I was taking a bite of the sandwich and then feeding him a bite. I walked away, came back. Jeff was just fuming. He's not happy. I shared the sandwich with Isaiah. I think that was a moment where she was like, man, there's really some trust and jealousy issues going on that's deeper than, what's there. And we really didn't have any problems after Casa Amor. They were solid. It was like me and him, and there was anybody else. They discussed it. And he said he was working on it, and other things, would happen where those red flags would arise, So she said it sucked. Biggest takeaway from this was that, all was good. He made her laugh more than anyone in the villa. He was so sweet to her, so nice. There was so much good. Jeff is a great human being. I have nothing but love in my heart for him. However, there were other signs that I knew going outside the villa we were going to be a problem. And such as this is a controlled environment where we are all sharing this common living space. And so that, I think, was probably the biggest one before the breakup. So that's where I guess we did not see that part about the whole sandwich situation. But obviously, because a lot of us thought that, was she faking? Was she hesitant? So she's saying there was more to meet the eye. Now, like I always say, there's three sides to every story. Not saying that she's not telling the truth. But Jeff is going to have his story. Now, he could corroborate it. And I'll be here for it. I always like to keep you guys updated. But, as far as this is concerned, that's her, what her experience is. So we'll just go with that. And look like she also was interested in trying to see if she could be interested in someone else in the villa, because that's what they asked her. Joel was another person that she was interested in, but she had more feelings for Jeff. So like I said, I'll drop the link down in the description area of this particular video. I wanted to share that because we were trying to see who was going to speak first when it came to this. And it looks like, she had what she needed to say. They interviewed her again. Shout out to Screen Rant for that as well. But looked like there was a lot more, according to Nadja, that was going on that we didn't see, which culminated into what happened, at that final exit that we did see last Friday. So let me know your thoughts. I know it got real messy this weekend because, there's another floating story out there about Tiger Lily, even though it's really not clear on, what happened in her situation, and people were pointing fingers at Jeff for that as well. I like to wait and see and hear stuff. I don't like to speculate. So I wanted to make sure that, I cross I's, dot T's, and everything like that. And I'm waiting to hear from the rest of the Islanders, including Jeff as well. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. What do you think about this? The link is in the description area because there's a whole, she talked about a lot. I only wanted to focus and highlight that specific part of the interview. But if you want to go read everything else she talked about her initial connection to Isaiah and when she came in, you can go check that out at that link. So until the next video, take a second to make sure you subscribe to this channel. And please don't forget to like and share. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.